freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 457 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearmsauctions.com, where you set the price on guns, ammo, and accessories. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is the Second Amendment in Massachusetts is a mess. And you think about that. Massachusetts, one of the founding states, and they're a mess.
I know. It's crazy.
How do you lose that? Anyway, our guest today is Kerrie Ann Auclair. Kerrie is a committed advocate for the Second Amendment and a seasoned firearm instructor deeply dedicated to creating safer communities through education. What a novel idea.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
I'm going to repeat that. Safer communities through education.
Yes, Kerrie is the state director for Women for Gun Rights in Massachusetts and the Armed Women of America. She serves on the board of the Second Amendment Institute, as well as do I, and is the Women's Advocacy Director and Women's Program Assistant for Gun Owners Action League, GOAL. I love that acronym. Kerrie is also one of the co-hosts for Sisters in Arms, a firearm story on YouTube. Welcome to the show, Miss Kerrie.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I am in New Hampshire, so hopefully we don't lose connection and everything goes fine. But I am so thrilled that you called me up. And I love talking about this because it's my passion. Anytime I'm talking about education and training and everything that I do, I really get so excited. So thank you for having me.
Well, Kerrie,
absolutely.
So our theme is the Second Amendment in Massachusetts is a mess. And so I was wondering, what's happening to our gun rights in Massachusetts?
Oh, Lord. So I will tell you, I wrote this all down because I did a speech a couple of years ago regarding everything that's happening right now in Massachusetts. So technically, it really started on February 9th, 2023, and ended on June 6th, 2023. So what I mean by that is Representative Michael Day in Massachusetts had started something called the listening tour. So basically what that was he went around to different parts of the state of Massachusetts, Brockton, New Hampshire, Brockton, New Bedford, in different cities and stuff like that, different towns, talking about suicide and guns, or it could have been something to do with hunting and guns. And it was that kind of topic, and it was many different topics. And sometimes it was just about safer communities and guns, school safety and guns. So, of course, being part of the Women for Gun Rights, the DC project, we really tried to dedicate ourselves as much as possible to getting to every single listening tour. So we were able to go to 9 out of 11 listening tours. We traveled 6 hours one night to try to get there. We wanted to make sure that Representative Michael Day saw our faces. This is what gun ownership looks like. This is what I'm a woman, I'm a mom, I deserve to protect myself and my family. And then on June 26th, boom, the bill HD 4420 came out. And unfortunately, it has changed 6 times. So it just literally changed numbers 6 times. And the bill, I think, is the most egregious attack on our civil rights. The whole entire bill, not just a component of a bill, it's the whole bill. And it's about our rights, our civil rights, the Second Amendment. So they're calling it safer communities. They're trying to make safer communities. And in all reality, they really are not. They never were listening to us during that whole time that we were at these listening tours. I had one night, I had 30 girls from the DCP all dressed in teal there at Brockton. So I got goosebumps when I talk about that. And the people that stood up, I was so proud of them because I never really thought they were going to stand up. And I get a little emotional talking about it because that was hard for them. And it was hard for me.
Absolutely.
Every single time I got up, I started shaking, but I knew I had to be a voice for all the ladies that I've been training for the past 6 years and all
Mhm.
the stories that I've heard. So it's not just for me, it's for my family, it's for them, it's for anybody that can't be a voice at this point and don't know how to be a voice. And so that's how it started. So right now on July 25th, Maura Healey signed into law, which is now H4885, but now it's chapter 135, 135 Act of 2024. So it's now a law. So we're all freaking out because there's a lot of components to this that I can't even start to even explain to you. The training aspect of it now is going to require injury prevention, suicide prevention, de-escalation tactics, live fire, written exam, and the written exam has to be determined by the colonel of police. So they don't even have like the funding to do this. So at this moment, we did as an instructor, as a BFS instructor for the state. So I'm state certified to provide classes to give certificates to individuals to get their license to carry, FID, federal. So an FID for long guns or an LTC for everything. And we got an email stating that they're going to extend that to the 23rd. However, me working for Gun Owners Action League, and we've been working very, very hard. We did a referendum last week. We actually got it into the State House. So yay to us because we got the signatures going. So basically that means for anybody that doesn't understand it, I'm still new at trying to figure out all of this myself, but if we can get it on the ballot, then the law stops. Boop. If we can't get it on the ballot in November, the law stops until we're able to get it to the next state election. So it could be 2 years from now, and this egregious bill will stop, which is going to give us, and there's a lot of people already, they already have briefs ready to go, and Goal being one of them. And I know that there's a few other groups as well that are working hard to get a brief going. Because the bill is so egregious, we all have to pick a piece of the bill, not the same pieces, so we can attack this bill as much as we can. So until then, we got over 600,000 gun owners in Massachusetts. People are ironically now waking up. What's happening? I'm like, what do you mean? We've been talking about this for 2 years, so
Yes.
it's
Yes.
just, it gets me going because I'm like, I can't even believe this. And I will tell you, Cheryl, honestly, me being new to Gun Owners Action League, it's like being a doctor. You can't be emotionally involved in it. And I'm trying to back up. I'm like, I can't do this, and he's like, just take a breath. No, it's not fair.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm turning that emotion into passion. I'm turning that emotion into not rage, but I'm working hard and I'm going to be loud. I'm not going to be quiet. I haven't been, and it's going to get louder. So
Kerrie, use a little bit of rage. Use a little bit of rage. It helps. It does help. It's a shame that, these people that we vote into office, that a lot of them don't know a single thing about guns, but yet they're making bills, making laws for gun safety when they have no clue where to even start. And gun safety is an important issue, but it starts with the family and the kids, and they're trying to keep it away from the kids. They don't want the kids involved in the guns. But yet, if we teach kids firearm safety, like I did when I was young, you have a different aspect about firearms. So it's just a shame that we hire these leaders. I hate that word. Representatives of our state.
Supposedly representatives. They're not representing you,
right.
clearly.
No,
to
they're
make
not
rules
people
on something they don't know nothing about. But anyway, good for you.
Yeah, and
Standing
I'm
up.
glad that you brought up the point about kids being taught young, because here in Massachusetts, unfortunately, and I really hate to use the word Democrat and Republican, but now I'm starting to realize that some Democrats are on our side, but most of the Republicans are on our side. And it is important to get your vote out there. We need to vote these people out that are not for we the people. If you're not for we the people and protecting our Constitution, then I don't want you in office, because if you're attacking the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and all the other amendments are going to get attacked as well, because they want control. And damn it, I want that control back. I want to have that freedom back. So
Yes.
I think it's crucial that we vote them out. But I also feel, though, it's very unfortunate that in Massachusetts, when we bring up the word Eddie the Eagle, NRA Eddie the Eagle, and I'm trying to get a program to the school, being part of Goal. I have a lot of different opportunities to do different things. John Green, he's my hero, he's my advocate, he's my mentor, he's everything. He's the one that's trained me. So did Jim and Angie and Mike Harris. Everybody at Goal for the last 5 years have been helping me to learn the the two-way community in that way. Not just, hey, I'm going to go to the range and shoot.
Right.
So then all of a sudden now I have a job at Goal. So I'm very fortunate. I feel like I've been on a very long job interview for the last 6 years. So, but I want to turn that around and get some firearm safety within the school, because if it starts there, then we can take that. They're the future. They're the ones that are going to be the future, and they can take that firearm safety and make safer communities, because that's about education.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, that's, it's a no-no here, and it's so
well, let's
sad.
think about that with like kids. Okay, I don't have a pool. My daughter didn't need to learn how to swim. I don't have a pool, but yet my next door neighbor has a pool and they're friends.
Right.
So my daughter goes over there. She should know how to swim because they have a pool.
Right.
Right. And so it's the same with, my kids don't have guns. We don't have guns in the house. Teach kids the fundamentals of firearms.
Right. Help
Yep.
keep them safe, themselves safe, empower
Right.
them with education.
Yeah. And we
It's-
could save so many kiddos just by that, just that
it's
alone.
irresponsible.
Not even that,
not
adults
to.
too. There's
Yep.
adults that think that if a magazine's out of a firearm, it can't fire.
Mm.
So there's so many
Yeah.
things, right. So there's so many things. And what they think is safety is remove the guns.
Right.
Well, you can't. That's not going to happen.
No.
Right.
Because what you're doing too is, when you're removing the guns from law-abiding citizens, you're not removing the guns for the criminals that are being let back out in the street. The system's broken. And
Yeah.
I remember being at Brockton in one of the listening tours, and I got up and I looked at the cop and I said, before I said anything else, I looked at him, I said, I appreciate your service. I feel bad for you though. And he looked at me like, and I stopped and I let him look at me. And then I said, because how many times you've arrested the same person with illegal firearms and they're back out in the street? They're the ones that are the problem, not us. We're
Thank
not the
you.
bad guys. Why are you treating me like a bad guy? Do I look like a bad guy? No, I look like a concerned mom that I'm being threatened. My safety is being threatened. My kids' safety is being threatened.
Right.
This community is being threatened because you are attacking the wrong people.
Absolutely. So on this, it's a crazy title to me, Chapter 135, Action of 2024. That's a long name for this thing. And the work that you're doing, what can our listeners do? We have listeners not just in Massachusetts, not just in Arizona where we are, but all across the nation. What can they do to help? Because what happens in one state is going to be a blueprint for the next state, whether it's a neighboring state or, they're coming at us from both shores, right? From the East Coast and the West Coast. They're trying to squeeze us out with their Marxist, their anti-gun, whatever label you want to put it, anti-freedom nonsense. And then we've got to put all this time and effort to scramble and try to reset the bar back to Bruin, right? Back to where the Bill of Rights said it. What can people do, whether they're in Massachusetts or elsewhere?
Well, I think the one thing that people need to do is realize that just because you have a gun and you go to the range, there's a lot more responsibility with that. With great power comes great responsibility. And that includes being educated regarding what's going on around you legislatively. So get to know your legislators, get to know your selectmen. I went to my selectmen 3 times with this bill. I work for the town hall. They know who I am. I went to the chief. I did this. I called them. I called him telling him that this bill went through. He goes, what? Yeah, you didn't know? So
Oh, wow.
if you have a relationship with people and know what's going on, and it doesn't mean that you have to go to the state house. You're not that person. You can email, you can call, you can get familiar with your representatives, know who they are.
Mhm.
And because when it comes down to being attacked, we need all hands on deck, no matter what state you're in. Because one state like Massachusetts, they're using this against every single person in the United States. If this
Mhm.
goes through and we can't fight this, it's going to trickle to one state, to another state, to another state, to another state. You
Right.
know, I'm here in New Hampshire, live free or die state. You know, that's their motto, live free or die. And I'm like walking around with my big old shirt because I'm proud of that, you know. But, you know, unfortunately, next week, I know I have to go back home to Massachusetts, and reality is going to be reality, but you need to get involved.
Mhm.
There are, you know, organizations like Women for Gun Rights, you know, Gun Owners Action League. There's organizations within your state that can help you understand the process, that
Mhm.
can help you get to know your reps, that help you get to know where to find your reps.
Mhm.
You know, I tell everybody, if you want to know in Massachusetts and you want to get more information regarding the bill, go to goal.org, GOAL.org. There's a whole website, a whole section on the website just regarding this bill and what we're
Mhm.
doing to
Mhm.
stop this bill. Women for Gun Rights, you know, I can give you my email for that, Kerrie Ann dcpma@gmail.com. If you want to help advocate in Massachusetts, call me. If you're a woman and you want to help use your voice and you have a story, I want to hear that. I'm here to help you get through that. So I think that's how people need to not be afraid, because when it comes down to it, and then I'm hearing this now and it makes me want to cringe. What do you mean it went into law? What do you mean we had a bill? We've been talking about this. I've been talking and talking and talking. And when you talk to somebody so much about it, they glaze over and they walk
Yes.
away. So there's got to
Yes.
be a different way where we can approach individuals that are not necessarily fully understanding the process of how it all works. There's
Mhm.
got to be a way where we can say, hey, you know, and that's why, like, again, Women for Gun Rights, you know, even Armed Women of America, Goal, and other groups help you get that. There's a group, there's Zoom meetings that you can join to understand that this is your responsibility, you
Well,
know?
you know, I look at it this way. I
Absolutely.
mean, I have friends, I know people that have firearms, and I say, you know, did you vote? No, it's not worth voting. And so that's the first step. The first
Yep.
step, you know, my vote don't count, or they cheat, or whatever reasons it is. Well, if they do cheat, then vote more, you know, vote so that they have to cheat more.
Right.
They might
But
get
that's
caught
what
that
they
way.
want you to think. That's what they
Right.
want you to feel.
Right. So
So
you,
if
yeah,
we, if
don't vote. It's useless. Just let it go. But that's the first thing we need to get people off the couch to vote. If we can
right,
get past that, then they'll start realizing, hey, I voted for this guy, but yet he did this, so I need to go call him.
Mhm.
I need to
right,
go talk to him. But they don't. They just, you know, it'd be funny to say, okay, did you vote? No, I didn't. Okay, then I'm taking all your guns. What?
right.
You're taking my
Yeah,
guns? Yeah, because either I'm going to take them or the government's going to take them because you didn't vote. You
right.
know? So I
Exactly.
mean, it's almost that's the extreme we have to be for people to you don't know what you have until you lose it.
Right.
And
Okay.
that's what
You
you
don't,
experienced
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
in
And
Massachusetts.
I'm seeing people like totally freaking out about it. They're like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, well, we've been telling you and we've been asking you to contact you know, and even if your state has nothing going on right now, this is the perfect opportunity for you. Sorry, flies. Perfect opportunity for you to actually contact your rep and say, hey, my name is, and
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I do this, and I would love to really get to meet you. That's the time where it's calm. There's no you know, nothing to spark there's nothing to, you're not going there to argue a point. You're going there
Yes.
just to meet somebody and having a conversation. And even if you were, it's just having a conversation so they can understand your point.
That whole idea of forming relationships, that was at the core of the start of the Women for Gun Rights group. We were called DC Project back in the day. That teal sign behind me still has the DC Project logo on it, because I've been there since the beginning. And I want you to talk about the specific work that you do in Massachusetts with Women for Gun Rights. But I also want to kind of pinpoint that during election time, that is when candidates are so open, right? They want to know everybody, and they have coffee time, and they have meet and greets, and they have all these opportunities for you to not only know them, but for them to know you. And that is a powerful thing, because not every one of them is going to win the next election, but a lot of them go on to the next thing, right? And eventually they're going to be elected to something. And now you have a relationship, a one-on-one. Sometimes you're texting with these people.
Yep.
And that is so powerful because you have their ear and they know what you stand for and that you helped them to achieve the office they have and that you hold them to be an actual representative. So right now is like the key time that we should all be out there meeting and greeting all of these candidates and helping weed out the wheat from the chaff. So I'll get off my soapbox and I will pass it back to you. So in Massachusetts, specifically, what is the work you're doing with the WGR, Women for Gun Rights?
Well, it's funny because it was Women for Gun Rights, and now it's goal, and it's kind of combined into one for me, so to speak. So it's like copy and paste, which is really great. And I'm like, pinch me now. Am I really doing this? I can't believe
You
this.
are so the right person for this. You are
I
awesome.
love it. But so Women for Gun Rights, I started about, oh God, I think it's almost 3.5 years ago now, when it was the DC project. And we basically got a lot of women together that wanted to advocate and protect our civil rights, but they also wanted to do that because they had a story. And so it might have been a domestic violence story. It might be this, might be that. And, people have come to me and said, well, why is it just women? I said, because women feel comfortable training with women. Women feel comfortable learning from women, especially if they've been in a situation where maybe they're not comfortable being around a man right now, or maybe they're just comfortable having a conversation and not feel stupid by asking a question that they feel is stupid. And by the way, there is no such thing as a stupid question, ladies. No such thing. So, we're all trying to learn this together. I'm still learning. I will learn to the day I die. Once I think I know it, I know everything, then I'm done. I'm done. Then there's no reason for me to do this anymore. But so that's what we do. We just get together. We do Zoom meetings. We were more active like a year ago. We had Shauna O'Connell. She was the mayor from Taunton. She came down and spoke with us at our range. And that was fabulous. We had a meet and greet a while back. And unfortunately, I would like to do some more, but right now our efforts are waiting for the signature, the actual petition to come out from the referendum. Once that does, boom, then we're gonna really start, kicking the ball and all boots on ground, or whatever you want to call it.
No,
But
absolutely. I've kind of taken a step back from my duties with the WGR here in Arizona during this past year because there's so many events going on. Everybody is distracted with the election and, and the meet and greets and so forth. And then we don't even have like this huge issue going on like you do in Massachusetts. So I do understand there are times when you're more active and less active with your members, but the fact that you gathered, what was the number? Did you say 30 women? Was it, how many women did you get together?
so I got 30 women to go to one of the listening tours in Brockton with
That's
Rep Day.
tremendous.
And it was a combo between the Women for Gun Rights and my AWA ladies. And
Yeah.
I gave them all teal shirts, and it was a red sea of teal. And it really was impressive. And I think it was also a little intimidating because if you look behind us, you got the Moms Demand Action, which they normally wear red and orange shirts. So, and I never really had the opportunity to meet any of these women before, and they were doing the same thing we were doing. I knew the same faces at the same meetings throughout the same time, and they were not very nice to us. because they just didn't understand. And I
Right.
really wanted to have a conversation with them. I really wanted to be able to sit down and say, listen, let's talk about this, because I'm a mom, you're a mom, I'm a woman, you're a woman. You want
Mhm.
to feel safe, so do I. So there you go. That's one thing we have in common. Now let's talk about the rest,
Yeah.
and that's not an easy thing, because they are so conditioned to the tool that hurt them, rather
Mhm.
than conditioned to the person that caused the tool to be harmful, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Wow.
so
That's well said. Well, I think it's tremendous. 30 women that you brought together through your efforts. And because each of them, and we ladies are social creatures, right? So each of us have our own sphere. Shocking news. Breaking news right here on Gun Freedom. Women are social creatures. And so each of us have our spheres of influence. And part of that sphere is our husbands, right? So even though it's a women's group, we're still influencing the men around us and our children, the next generation. And everything will count on how well we pass that baton to the next generation.
mhm.
And women are just really geared more for that. I hate to sound sexist, but it's just been my experience
Yeah,
overall. Um, is that, I mean, I know some dads that are very, very involved with their kids and passing those batons, but why not involve the women as well, right? So it's really more an as well rather than an exclusive kind of a club.
exactly. And I'm glad that you said that, because, people think that we're being, what's the word? We're being discriminating because we have these women clubs. And I'm like, you don't understand. You just don't understand. It's you have your boy clubs, we have our girl clubs, and there's a reason for it. There's no reason not to have that. If you're gathering more people and you're getting them to understand what's going on. But the best thing is they're taking what they learned and they go home and they tell their husband and their kids and this and that and the other. And I think that really is, the more we talk about this, the more we have shows like this. That's why anytime someone says you want to be on the show, yes, 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 yes.
Exactly. The
Well,
Because
only
we just
answer is yes.
I say this to the husbands out there that are questioning why women rights, gun rights are there. Just, I tell this to every guy out there. If the women get involved in guns, it's going to better our community and it's going to get you more guns in the house,
It's true.
right? It is.
Hey, that's
It
a
is.
good point.
It is because I mean, it's like,
He's not wrong.
you buy a guy buys a gun, his wife's not involved. Oh, you bought another gun today, right? Well, now it's like, oh, look what I bought today. Oh, that's cool. Look what I bought. I bought one too. So, but
It's
women
so funny.
are, and women are more vocal about all this stuff. And I think I think that's where we're seeing the change, that we are winning some battles with the gun rights for our
We
gun
Right.
have
rights.
won
We
some
are.
significant battles.
One of the things that puzzles me the most, so I see interviews on YouTube and stuff where people say, well, what's wrong with Trump? Or what's this or what's that? And they only have a little bit that they can come up with. So like the women, what is that thing in the women demand action?
Moms demand
Mom
action.
demand
Mom
action.
demand action.
Okay, so they are conditioned. Everyone that goes to that building is conditioned, I'd be willing to bet, not to talk, not because they want to keep their group tight. They don't want reasoning or understanding. They want what they want, which is no guns.
Mhm.
Where we're
Right.
trying to be open and say, why don't you like guns?
Mhm.
Why would you wait until you become a victim before you want to have a firearm? Because we see that in the industry so much, where people that had nothing to do with guns, they become a victim, and now they
Right.
want to protect themselves. Why are
Well,
we waiting for that?
I think what you just said, victim. And I remember going to a listening tour and the conversation was domestic violence and guns. And I got up and I said something to the effect of, I don't remember, but I do remember this one lady stood up and said, if I had a gun, my husband would have used it against me. And we all of us in the back went, no, that's not true.
Right.
Because if you educate yourself as a responsible gun owner, that is something that's protecting you. And I remember now exactly what I said. I got up and I said, putting a firearm on a woman's hip creates an equalizer. And
Mhm.
one of the panelists, who was a woman, came to me after and said, I never ever thought about that until you said it. So
Wow.
even though, so it's like your words matter, and she said what she said, and we're all like gasping, like, honey, no, that's not true. So I think they're just so conditioned to being a victim, and that's why I was saying to you that the word victim is very crucial in this aspect, because when I train my women, the Armed Women of America, I remember one woman stood up and she told me her story, and I never heard her story. She was crying, and I looked at her and I said, well, congratulations. And she looked at me, she goes, for what? I said, you're no longer a victim anymore. You're a survivor. So
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
awesome.
perfect.
So I'm gonna get in trouble. All
Uh-oh.
right. So
Where's my mute button?
and I'm not even sure that I'm gonna say this right, but
We can always take it out.
right, a person, whether it be a man or woman, that doesn't care enough to protect themselves can be a victim very easily by association, or it is, I guess, the word I'm trying to say, where a woman that is strong is not going to have a husband or partner that is going to be abusive to them if they show equal strength, right? And so sometimes victims are victims because they choose to be a victim. I don't know how to say this, but it just hit me that
I think you're right in some aspect, only because I know that I have a family member who was domestic violence survivor, got stabbed, lost her kid, that kind of thing, because she got thrown down the stairs. So, I think some people stick into that victim role because they grew up watching that. So maybe their father was abusive to their mother, or their mother was abusive to their father, and goes both ways. And so they don't know how to get out of that victim role or emotion. And so sometimes I don't think it's necessarily that they want to be there. They just don't know any better, So
well, that's true. And what a complete mind shift if a woman who's stuck in a horrible situation like that. And oftentimes there is a stuck, right? Whatever got them there in the first place. They were tricked by a narcissist or whatever. But what a mind shift if they go and they start getting this firearms training and surrounding themselves with other women who are survivors. And I mean, that can really be a cycle breaker to Danny's point.
And and it goes back to the Armed Women of, sorry, I have an obnoxious
that fly is, I can see it, is attacking you.
Going back to the Armed Women of America, when I first started this and Kelly Pigeon is the one who introduced me to this, and becoming a leader. I had no idea what the heck this was. I didn't even know what 2A stood for. I mean, I was so green, it was crazy. But going to the range often and then seeing other women approach us made me realize that this is a need and we should start something. And so when I talked to Kelly one night about something off topic, she said, you should start this chapter. I said, what are you talking about? A chapter? What's that? I don't know. It took me like 6 months to research. It was called The Well-Armed Woman back then, to see if I could do this, because I wasn't even an instructor yet. I wasn't even an RSO yet, but I realized the importance of it. And I said, oh, no. And then something happened with my kids. And then I realized the importance of educating them with firearms. And it just blew up from there. So I did it. I was scared to death. I got people in place to help us until we became instructors. We became RSO instructors within a year of starting this. And we've just continued, RSO, NRA instructor, USCCA instructor, refuse to be a victim, pepper spray instructor. I'm looking into becoming as much as I can to better myself, to be a better instructor for those ladies, because it's those ladies that come to the meeting, and I have about 75 women, actually probably a little bit more now, part of the Armed Women of America and the DC project, to be honest with you. And about 30 women come to the meetings every month. And when you see a whole room of women just filled with excitement to be there, to be more confident and comfortable with their firearm, to be not a victim anymore, to be a survivor in whatever shape or form that wants to be. Maybe they're not anything at all. Maybe they just want to be comfortable and confident and learn to be their own first responders. And what's better than that when you have a bunch of strong, excuse my language,
Yes.
badass women there trying to, to do what they need to do to be a responsible gun owner. And that's power. And when you see that as a leader, you're like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yes.
It does get emotional. So
And
that's why
somebody
when
like,
does.
if you're doing groceries or you're out in the street and you're a woman by yourself, and if you feel confident with yourself and you know where you're going, a person who's going to attack you is going to think twice about that versus somebody that looks weak, somebody that doesn't know where they are and what they're doing. That's who they go for. And that's what I was trying, if you show that you're strong, you're going to have a better chance of not becoming a victim.
Yep.
That's
Don't
true.
look like a victim. And that's the refuse to be a victim program that I teach. We teach that, head up, eyes out, looking around, and don't look like a victim.
Absolutely.
And so that's just part of the tools that we have as responsible gun owners.
Well, I love that I've heard you say several times through this conversation on all the different layers of the advocacy and the education and the training that you do. You didn't sit back and wait and go, well, I can't do anything because I don't have all the skills, right? You started somewhere. You did what you could do, right? None of us can do everything, but all of us can do something. And I just really admire that so much about you, that, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And look where you are now, and all the tools, all the skills, all the people that you touch, because you just said, yes, I'm going to try. And I hope that absolutely, I hope you are inspiring gajillions of people out there, men and women, that feel like the pie is too big to eat all in one. The elephant's too big to eat in one bite. So I'm not even going to take a nibble.
I do have to tell you a story of my daughter, because sometimes when she was younger, she would be more apprehensive to be more involved with stuff that I was doing. And then she became a teenager. But then one year I went to her school, and the teacher came to me and said, your daughter talks about the things that you do often. And she told me that you help women, train women. She didn't say to the teacher what I do. She just said she was proud of me. And that made me
going to cry right now.
I am too. And that was like a couple years ago. And I'm like, oh, she's paying attention.
Yes.
So that right there, that was the most important person that I could touch right now, because she's the future. And Caleb, they do the same thing. They see all these things that I'm doing. They've grown up with it. So they don't really think much about it. But then sometimes they say something to someone else that makes me more inspired to continue what I'm doing. So,
well, and they're going to influence their circle of friends and associates. So that's amazing. That's everything right there. All right, we are running a little short on time. I do want to, we've talked about Armed Women of America, the AWA, several times in this conversation, but the AWA is actually doing their annual benefit auction, fundraiser as an auction this year, and using our Pot of Gold Auctions website. And so just wanting to be sure that we've, put that out there in the airwaves. That I think that closes, I think I have to look that up actually. Dan, do you remember? No. Let me find out. I've got it right here on your guest page. The no, I'm going to have to look that up. But go to POGAuctions.com and search for the Armed Women of America benefit auction. People are still donating. People are starting to bid, and it's going to be tremendous. So
that's awesome.
Want to be sure we've peppered that into our conversation.
And all the money goes towards the AWA.
All the money goes towards the AWA.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
And then let's just round out on this podcast because you don't have enough things to do. Uh, talk to us about your podcast.
Okay, so it's called Sisters in Arms, a firearm story. So my good friend of mine, my best friend, my sister in arms, Renee Gagney, and I started this. We're in our 49th episode now. Can't believe it. It's actually brilliant. And we did this because we realized the importance of educating our communities. And we were trying to figure out the best way to do it. I had an idea, and then we started talking about it. The idea became this idea, and now here we are. So it's actually done through a local community access TV program through Taunton, Massachusetts, and they take that, they put it on their station, we bicycle it to other stations, and then I upload it and put it on YouTube. So it's a great opportunity to understand what's going on, not just in Massachusetts, but in just the 2A community in general. We create safer communities by doing this podcast on a daily basis. We have such wonderful, wonderful guests that said yes to coming on. Some of the ladies, Mary, some of the ladies came on from the DCP or WGR, talking about their stories. And we've had Jim Wallace, Mike Harris, Charlie Cook, of course. We've had a lot of really awesome, amazing guests. And we're looking to have some more folks come on. And oh, we even had the Boy Scouts come on. That was so cute. So talking about that, Appleseed, you name it. So check us out on YouTube. Again, if you're looking for us, you got to put in Sisters in Arms, a firearm story.
Awesome.
Yes, and that link is on your page. And while you were talking about the YouTube channel, I did look up that the auction for the AWA benefit fundraiser auction will end on September 24th, 2024. You can find us at POGAuctions.com or potofgoldestate.com. And it's a great collaboration. I just love collaborating.
You can start bidding now, but other items are going to be added to this as we go along. So you can bid now, and it ends, like you said, on the 24th.
Absolutely.
That's perfect timing.
Right. Seriously. All right. Well, we need to start wrapping up, and we've already mentioned a few ways that people can follow the work that you do, and help out with, maybe donating some money to Goal, right?
Right.
So
Need
that
all hands on deck.
that horrible law that was signed in so stupidly. I'm going to use the word stupid. It was stupidly signed in. And so to help the people in Massachusetts fight back against that. But please, what is the best way for people to either find you, follow you, or reach out to some of these groups that you're a part of?
Well, I would say the easiest is if you're looking to get in contact with me regarding Goal, learning more information about Goal. It's Kerrie, Kerrie at goal.org. If you want more information regarding the other organizations, I'll just give you the Kerrie Ann DCPMA at gmail.com. And also check out our YouTube channel, and we have a Facebook page and Instagram. So Ways to Be Powered is another Facebook page and Instagram. That's my other personal business. So any way or anything you need, any questions, definitely reach out. But thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it. I love talking all this stuff. It's great.
Me too. Thank you so much for all that you do. And, just full disclaimer, you took time from your vacation while you are camping to find a spot with your laptop to do this. And you got attacked by a fly for your efforts. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Kerrie Ann Auclair.
Bye.
Bye-bye. God bless.
I can't get over it. Massachusetts. I think that was one of the 13 original colonies. And I just kind of thought, well, how did they become the United States? Didn't they use firearms to defend themselves?
Yeah.
For what? For what though? For freedom? What was it? Freedom? Is that what they, and when freedom with a lot of rules and regulations doesn't equal freedom anymore.
Exactly. It's
I'm
so
curious, is that the same Massachusetts or this one
twisted.
somewhere else?
No, it is definitely that Massachusetts. When you look back at the history of that state, this is such an affront to the people that even landed there, right? On the Mayflower, Plymouth Rock, the whole thing, seeking freedom from persecution. And, 250 years is really, I mean, longer than that from when they landed, but 250 years from when we fought a war over our right to keep and bear arms, right? Because it was Lexington and Concord in Virginia that sparked off, that said that was the line that we said that's enough. We will not allow the British to come in and take our ammo, our powder, our guns. And now we're just rolling over. We're writing laws against each other to allow the government to have more power in our individual lives. What on earth have we done?
I know what we've done. It's like an old horror movie where what's happened is the king in England didn't win the war against us.
Mhm.
So what he did is, I'll fix you guys. I'll start sending liberals over there and they'll start changing it and we will get control again. It might take us 300 years, but we'll get control again. It could be a movie.
Could be a movie. It's a sad movie. I don't like this movie. We
Well,
need to change the ending
cancel
like
it.
right now,
Cancel it.
right?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much to our amazing guest, Kerrie Ann Auclair. Again, she took time off vacation to have this conversation with us because she is that invested in the work that she does, that invested in the future of our nation. Thank you to our amazing listeners and viewers. Wherever there is internet, we have people who are passionate and hungry for this kind of information. So thank you so much for tuning in. And if you want to go back and watch any portion of this video or any of our videos, you can go to YouTube, Gunstreamer, the OpsLens smartphone app. When you go to those platforms, please hit the like, the notification, the share, and the subscription, because that tells those platforms that you value this information and it gives us a hedge against being canceled, as Dan said. If you want to listen to the audio only version, go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, click the on demand tab, and
Binge listen to your heart's content.
darling. All right. And if you want to see photos and bios and links to all the works that Kerrie Ann and all of our guests have ever done, then go to the guest tab. It is an ever-growing database of subject matter experts. And when you spend time there, we don't hate that. All right. I've got to reach over to the side because I forgot my notes on the next thing I want to talk to you about. But we have some very good friends. Sorry about that. Some very good friends who have created a tremendous product that will help you out on the range to be more accurate with your shooting. Who doesn't want that? Especially when it's hot outside and your hands get sweaty and the grip starts slipping. Well, you can get Locked In Grip. It is a liquid shooting sports chalk. It was created by Shelley and Brian Hill of The Complete Combatant, and it creates a no slip, better traction, heightened connection for safer, faster shooting. LockedInGrip.com. And we've been talking about Massachusetts and America and our heritage. And why do we not take pride anymore in buying American, right? When you buy American-made products that are made on American soil that support American jobs, that is really moving the ball towards protecting our nation and our future. And I and Dan are going to invite you to an invitation-only private shopping club that is helping our family and millions of others cut the cord on those huge corporations where we spend money and they use that money to directly come back and infringe on our rights, diminish our freedoms. Let's cut the cord on that. Go to patriothousehold.com/GFC GFR. When you get there, you can buy all the same stuff that you buy at those big box stores. You can buy your shampoo, your laundry soap, your skincare, your delicious snacks. We always have a bag of delicious snacks on hand in between our episodes. This is called Simply Fit. It's healthy, it's yummy. It kind of sustains you to the next thing that you've got to run and do. And then also they have amazing and healthy ground beef, roasts, steaks, some of the best steak you're ever going to taste in your life through their Riverbend Ranch. So check it out. You can shop as you need to, or what I do is I set my order and I forget it. It shows up at my door. It cannot be any more convenient than that. PatriotHousehold.com/GFR. We get a tiny piece of every dollar you spend to help the work we do. The Second Amendment Foundation gets a tiny piece of every dollar you spend to help with all the lawsuits that they are out there filing on our behalf. I wonder if they're involved in Massachusetts. I should have asked Kerrie that. I would imagine they might be. All right, folks, until next time, we are going to
Pray for our nation.
pray for our leaders, our representatives,
Yep.
even the ones you don't like,
Yep.
maybe especially the ones you don't like.
Yep.
And until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week, and God bless.
Bye-bye.